Coming up on Vantage Point.
Senior class officers are working to raise money after coming up short for a prom venue.
As more students learn to drive, finding parking at Cleveland is becoming more problematic.
And we take you inside the bowling team's first week of competition. Stay tuned for all this and more on the last episode of the decade.
Coming to you from Studios 1162, Vantage Point starts right now.
Hey Eagle Nation, and welcome to Vantage Point, where we see you. I'm Zaria Polk.
And I'm Jalise Rapisura. Here's the latest news. After coming up hundreds of dollars short to secure a prom venue, officers for class of 2020 have increased their fundraising efforts to earn more money for the class. Shalia Jones has the details.
The seniors have had new class officers all 4 years of high school. With only a few consistent leaders staying the course, the lack of steady leadership is one of the reasons why the group is struggling financially. A large responsibility of class officers is to raise money for their class. Most of the fundraising is to ensure the group can fund events for their senior year. But the class of 2020 has added an influx of officer changes, with many of the students who had been in their leadership team no longer participating in ASB. Chapel Barnes was the president of the class of 2020 her freshman year, followed by Nathan Trung and Justin Nguyen, who has held the office for the past 2 years. Barnes is now the vice president after serving secretary her junior year.
I think they're interestingly labeled in ASB because I am vice president, but I don't actually have more or less power than anyone else in my group.
Over the past 4 years, the class of 2020 has raised $2,200. By comparison, the class of 2019 generated more than $18,000 in revenue over 4 years. 2019 was able to finish their year with $4,886 balance. As of December 12th, the class of 2020 was back in the negative. The lack of funding has left some of their seniors upset.
It makes me kind of sad because everybody looks forward to prom and it's like a big deal, and that like we might not have it anymore because our count's negative is kind of sad. I think a lot of people are going to be frustrated, and I'm like, what is our ASB team doing?
Justin Nguyen has served as 2020 class president since his junior year. He wants his classmates to know the officers are doing everything they can to rectify the situation.
Prom venue has been paid for. Prom committee has been working exceptionally hard, and we're really proud to have a prom venue booked and dated. So just no worries for how much funds are in our account right now, because we do have that settled.
Senior officers and ASB members are trying to be more transparent with the student body about ASB funding. If students have any questions or concerns, they can reach out to their class officers. This is Shalia Jones, and reporting from the field for Vantage Point.
What was one moment that changed your life?
Going to Cleveland High School, probably, maybe, yeah.
Why is that important?
Because it taught me that, like, this is the next chapter of my life and I need to get serious.
Basketball. Why is it so important? Because it keeps me from getting in trouble and it teaches me how to work hard.
I think one moment that changed my life was the birth of my little sister.
What makes it so important?
What makes it so important is it taught me how to be more responsible.
ASB has hosted Cleveland's annual Multicultural Night on December 19th. The event included a fashion show as well as performances from different cultural groups. Attendees were able to feast on food from a variety of cultures, and students were able to learn more about Cleveland's diverse community.
I thought the night went very well, but from what I saw from the very first beginning, was just looks like great energy. I think Cleveland put on a great event, and things seem to have run smoothly.
There will be financial aid application workshop in the library on Thursday, January 9th, 2020, starting third period. Counselors will be assisting students one-on-one to finish their application. Students should come prepared with 2018 tax return information. There will be a Winter Wonderland-themed semi-formal dance after the break on Friday, January 10th, 2020, in the cafeteria. Tickets are $8 with ASB and $10 without. Sophomores won a discount and get tickets for $5. There will be no school on Monday, January 20th, 2020.
in observation of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. The schedule for that week will be Anchor AB.
Administrators are still pushing for students to sign up for free and reduced lunch. It's more than just lunch. Students who receive the benefit are able to get financial aid for school items like yearbooks and prom tickets, as well as have fees waived for AP exams and college application fees. Students can get the paperwork in the main office. For more information, students can see cafeteria manager Sandra Jennings.
Save the date. Club and organization photos take place from January 21st through January 23rd, 2020. Only ASB recognized clubs will be able to have their photos taken. Group advisors will be sent a link to sign up for a date and time. All photos will take place in the gym. See Ms. Scribner in room 1162 for more details.
Senior Francis Nguyen, Eagle News Network Yearbook Content Manager, traveled to Washington, D.C. in November to attend the National High School Journalism Convention. Nguyen was nominated for Newspaper Design of the Year, the same category he won last year. The recognition put Nguyen among the top 10 high school designers in the country.
Well, obviously it would have been nice to take home the #1 prize and have a three-peat, but I'm still pretty glad that I was in the finalists.
ENN also finished 9th out of the dozens of entries in the broadcast Best of Show category. This is the second time Vantage Point has received national recognition.
It's one of the biggest complaints about the school, the lack of available parking. As the Cleveland population grows, the parking lot is becoming more and more crowded. Annie Nguyen has more on how students and staff are feeling about the parking crunch.
The tight squeeze in the parking lot has become a pain in the bumper for student drivers. With more students having access to vehicles, the lack of parking spaces around Cleveland has students clamoring for a place to safely leave their cars.
With more than 90 staff members and community volunteers, and only 112 parking spaces, Cleveland's parking lot leaves no room for student drivers. According to Cleveland's handbook, student drivers are not allowed to park in the school lots. The policy leaves many students circling the neighborhood looking for open spaces. Several students have returned to their cars to find them with dents and scrapes.
I usually park on the street because we're not allowed to park in the parking lot, and it's really bad because I got sideswiped 3 times because I was in the school parking lot. And I know like a friend that parked across the street and got a ticket.
With students ignoring the parking lot rule, teachers are finding themselves forced out of spaces that are reserved for staff members. Some teachers arrive early to avoid the hassle.
I get up very early, usually get to school around 7, at least before 8 o'clock, and there's usually plenty of open spots. Maybe there's only 5 cars in the lot when I get there. But I know that others have complained, and I see that if you show up, around 8:30, it's pretty difficult to find parking.
According to interim head principal Catherine Brown, the need for staff-only parking lot is because of the number of community partners who visit the campus.
We pretty much need most of the spaces in our parking lot for the staff and the visitors that come through Cleveland. If it was just staff alone, we might have enough space, but we have a lot of visitors.
Brown is against having students pay for parking, but is hopeful that students are taking advantage of their free Orca cards to get to school.
I will say it's a little easier to take knowing that Orca cards are free now, and I want to thank again, always, the student activists from Rainier Beach and other places who got the free Orca cards to make it a little easier for students to get here.
It will cost the school district hundreds of thousands of dollars to expand the parking lot, and just based on the school's locations, there's really not enough areas around Cleveland to make that happen. This is Annie Nguyen reporting for Vantage Point.
ASB is recruiting students from each advisory to serve as members for the advisory committee. Selected students will be the voice for their advisory class and have the opportunity to vote on all fundraising proposals and offer general feedback to the school's ASB leadership. For more information, contact Activities Coordinator Casey Campbell. This is a reminder that the price of yearbooks will increase to $75 at the end of the semester. More than half of the books have already been sold, so don't wait. The cost of the book is $65. Students can pay online or in room 1113.
Also, seniors who pose for a cap and gown photo will be able to purchase their pictures when school resumes in January. Photo proof cards will be distributed to advisory teachers, and seniors can place their orders online. Any senior who missed having their picture taken can do so in room 1162 during lunch on January 9th. Contact Ms. Scribner to set up an appointment. Now let's see what's happening over in sports.
Hey Eagles, I'm Molly House and this is Squaw! It's the most wonderful time of the year, winter sports season. Teams kicked off their seasons in late November and things are already heating up for wrestling. But it is the new girls bowling team that is stepping into the spotlight. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. In a quest to give girls more opportunities to participate in sports, the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association introduced some new teams this year. We saw slow pitch softball excel in their inaugural season, and now girls bowling is looking to do the same. Just like softball, the team started their season with only a few players, but athletic director John Hughes is hoping the team will gain more traction among students.
The big goal is to increase participation. So if we can get a lot more girls signing up and playing and doing a team sport, that would be our first goal. The next goal would be them having a blast, having fun, competing against our rivals.
Freshman Kimani Johnson was looking for a sport that wasn't overly competitive and a way to have fun.
I'm not a big competitive person, so bowling just seemed really easy and mellow, just something easy to get into.
Johnson is hoping more girls will come out and join the team. She said the team is making a lot of progress as the season moves along.
Pretty much as we just have practice and all these games, we're building up the points and we're pretty almost in hundreds.
Earl Lee was brought on to coach the girls bowling team. He said the lack of bowlers is happening to other schools as well.
It just started, so not a lot of girls are coming out, especially for the other schools too, the ones that just got into it. It's kind of the same thing, not a lot of people coming in.
Lee isn't putting too much pressure on his team their first year, but he is working with the girls to improve their skills.
It would be really cool if a lot more people came out and just had fun, we're not trying to win the championship right now, it's just really lax.
Over in basketball, both the girls and boys are struggling early in the season, with each team only having one win so far. The boys suffered a lopsided season opening loss to Garfield, but bounced back against Franklin. They followed that win with two close losses against Nathan Hale and Bainbridge. For the girls, the team is without Giselle Abella, one of their point guards and top scorers. Their only win so far was their season opener against Clover Park. Both boys swim and wrestling are off to a solid start. The swim team has won both of their meets so far, and the wrestling team has put up some great performances on the mat. Shout out to Savion Galloway, who's ranked second in state in his weight division. We see you, Savion. Winter break doesn't mean the action stops. Girls basketball will take on Kent Meridian on December 21st, and there will be quad games on January 3rd and 4th, 2020. There will also be a wrestling tournament at Lindbergh High School on December 21st. This is Molly House with Squaw telling you to get in the game.
We made it, you guys! Winter break is finally here. School will be closed from December 23rd until January 3rd, 2020. School will resume on Monday, January 6th. We'll see you in the new year.
Until next time, I'm Julius Rapicero.
And I'm Zari Polk.
Stay flight, Eagles,
and keep soaring on. And that's all, Rudolph.